Hello, everybody. Welcome to Off the Court with Harvard Council Motivational Session. I want to talk to you today about why the best are the best. There's four things I want to discuss with you about why the best are the best. And those four things are: you have to be intentional. This is number one. Number two, you have to be prepared. Number three, you have to make sacrifices. And number four, you have to be disciplined. All right. When you do those four things, then you will become good and the best at whatever it is that you're doing. All right. Those four things not easy to do, but if you can apply those things to your life, it will make a difference and it will get you to being better than you were before. All right. And the first one I talked about was intentional. All right. And to be intentional, it means that you take a to-do list and turn it into I must do list. Okay, and when you're intentional about something, that means that you're thinking about it all the time, and you're going to make sure you get that done. And I think I shared with you on a video talking about my one word, and I do what's called a one word for the year, where I will pick one word and I will ride with that word all year long. And that one word just happened to be intentional. All right, and for the year, my goal is that I'm going to be intentional about everything that I'm doing. All right. So when I get up in the morning, if I got something that's part of my goals and part of my plans and what I want to be intentional about, I make sure I do it. Okay. And I'm real intentional about doing it. It's not easy all the time because there's some things that we don't feel like doing or want to do. But when you're intentional about it, you're going to make that happen. All right. And successful people are intentional. Okay. They wake up with a plan. They're intentional. They know what their day is going to be like. They are intentional. Okay. They're going to get it done. All right. That's just how they operate. That's just what they do. All right. And number two is talks about preparation or being prepared. Okay. You got to be prepared whenever you step out here and whenever you do things. And I saw this thing about preparation the other day that says that the definition of it is be there before you get there. And I said, wow, that's pretty deep. All right. Preparation is being there before you get there. So I'm already ready by the time I get there. I'm prepared. All right. There's not going to be any mistakes. Why? Because I'm prepared. I'm going to be ready before I get there. Anytime I go speak, I'm always prepared. I've got my stuff together. I'm prepared when I get there. So I'm not going to go in there fumbling and tripping over words and tripping over this and tripping over that. Why? Because I'm prepared, man. All right. And I have this thing that I use and it's in probably, I think, maybe the first book that I wrote. It's called The 5 P's of Success. And you probably heard of that because I make mention of it all the time. And I use it a lot with my basketball players when I was coaching. But I taught them about the 5 P's of success. And those 5 P's of success is talked about: proper preparation prevents poor performance. All right. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if you're properly prepared, there's no way you can perform poorly. If you properly prepare yourself, how can you go wrong? All right. If you properly prepare for a test for that next day, all right, you should go into that room and say, bring the test on, teacher. I'm ready. All right. Why? Because you're prepared. A lot of times people think they're prepared when they're really not prepared. You do a little bit here, you do a little bit there, and you go in thinking you're prepared. But being prepared is doing whatever you need to do at the time that you need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Getting all the information that you need. All right. So there's no way you can perform poorly if you're prepared. Okay. And the third word is sacrifice. All right. You got to make some sacrifice. And that's doing something, all right, that may not be good for you, but is good for the team, or it's good for the organization. Okay. Or it's good for the group. Okay. And I give an example of that. I think Dr. Martin Luther King sacrificed his life. All right. Sacrificed his family. Okay. To the point whereas he knew by doing what he was doing out there on the front lines and doing what he was doing and trying to make a difference with what he was out there doing, he knew that a lot of people didn't like it, and he's been threatened with death threats and all that type of stuff. So he knew eventually he probably was going to be killed at some point. He knew that because he talked about going to the mountaintop and seeing the promised land and that type of thing. All right. So he made a sacrifice, with his family, knowing that I'm going to leave these children behind, I'm going to leave my wife behind. But he made a sacrifice for what? For the good of the country. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we've got to make those type of sacrifices in our life. I give another example from a sports standpoint of when Kobe and Shaq played together. All right, Kobe was the man on the Lakers, and then Shaq came in. So now you got two guys that want to be on the top all the time, you know, wanting to be the best, all right? So now they bumping heads, but now when Phil Jackson comes in and coaches the team, he tells them that, you know what, you guys will have to make some sacrifices. Kobe, I know you scored all the points, but you know what? You and Shaq gonna have to work this thing out. You're gonna have to make some sacrifices. You're not gonna be able to score all the points that you've been scoring because we got somebody else that can help us out as well. Okay, so those are the type of sacrifices that you have to make sometime for the good of the team, for the good of the group, for the good of the organization. Sometimes you might have to scale it back, all right, to make the big picture work. Okay, so you got to sacrifice sometime. And the fourth and the last thing is you got to be disciplined. Okay, and I talk about working out all the time and that type of thing, and I worked out today, all right, but you know what? You got to have discipline to work out. You got to have discipline to do the things, you know, in order to get to that next level, all right? And discipline basically is, and I like to say it like this, is doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done as well as it can be done, and doing it that way all the time, okay? Doing what you need to do, all right? And getting it done when it needs to get done, you know what I'm saying? And not putting it off, okay? But getting it done. All right, you know what? You're trying to lose weight. You know, you can't eat that fried chicken anymore. You love fried chicken and you grew up on fried chicken, but you got to be disciplined enough to say, hey, I got to push that aside because I'm intentional about losing this weight. I'm intentional about being in better shape, you know, so I got to push that to the side, and now I got to eat the salad. Okay, those are things that you have to do to be disciplined. Okay, those type of things. And when you do these four things that I talked about, as far as being intentional, being prepared, making sacrifices, and having discipline, if you do those things and incorporate those things into your life every day, there's no way you won't be one of the best to ever do what you're doing. God bless.